The way the private works is you can do whatever you want, and if you'd like other people to know about it, you publish it on the internet, you publish it through a magazine or a book, or you go to the county recorder and publish it there. But there's no necessity to publish anything from the private. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you have a private trust, which means a trust that was not born or naturalized into any incorporated country, such as the United States, you don't need to publish it anywhere, and you can issue copies to anyone that you want privately if you feel that they need to have a copy of it. Or let's say, for example, a private trust, you don't even need to give people the original trust document. You would actually give people something called a certificate of trust. Certificate means evidence that something exists, and a certificate of trust is just a one-page thing, and it just gives them the most minimal information about the trust that they would need to contract with the trust. So if you have a 30-page trust indenture over here, you really don't need to give that to anyone. You don't need to publish it. You don't need to put it in magazines. You don't need to go to the county recorder with it. That thing can go in a vault in your basement, and no eyes will ever see it besides you and the people who have signed it from the time that you signed it until 21 years, which is typically how long a trust lasts. So for 21 years, there's been 2 or 3 pairs of eyeballs that have ever seen this thing, and you can contract and operate in the public and in the private using a certificate of trust without anybody literally ever seeing the fucking thing ever for the entire 21 years of the life of the trust.
Oh, so basically what you're saying is I can write up my own trust, outline it how I want it to, and essentially get that trust certified, stamped, or in a similar way of being authenticated, and then just show that certificate.
No, there's no authentication either. You create a certificate of trust. Like, for example, I can do a screen share and I can show you one. Okay. Let me pull up a screen share here. So an irrevocable trust is one where once the person who creates the trust creates it, they no longer have literally like any relationship with the trust at all. They can't change the trust. They can't pull the trust. They can't destroy the trust. They can't do anything with the trust. So when a trust is irrevocable, I don't even know why people need this information. It's almost completely irrelevant. If I had to assume, the only reason why anyone would even need this information is because if there was some kind of like fraud associated with how the trust was created or something, but I don't even know how they would even figure something like that out because they never get their hands on the original trust indenture. So I don't know why they need this information, but they do. The current acting trustees, that's very important. That's definitely needed in order to contract with the trust. The powers of the trust, this is all the included powers that are a part of the original contract, which would be the original trust indenture. The fact of the trust being revocable or irrevocable is, I guess, kind of important.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. So in what instance would somebody actually need to see your trust, or what instance might they say we need to see your trust? Just a bullshit.
There really isn't, honestly.
So essentially, someone might not even know if you actually have a trust or not.
I guess that's true. Technically, yeah. Now, if you're going to be opening up a bank account with this information and the banking institution ends up suing you, right? Now, you got to think too, is that we're going to get into it here shortly on this document. The trust identification number, this is the EIN number of the trust, right? So if you got an EIN number, that means you told the IRS under penalty of perjury a lot of the same information. So if you didn't have a trust, which I don't see why you wouldn't, you literally print off a piece of paper and get it notarized and boom, you've got a trust now. So why you would do this without structuring the trust first is stupid and silly. It's going to cost you, $4 total, and maybe a few hours of your time. It's not a very difficult thing to put a trust together, and you're going to tell the IRS under penalty of perjury this thing exists. They're going to give you an EIN number. So let's say, for example, you go into litigation underneath a bank, and you go into discovery, and they compel you to put a copy of the original trust indenture into the docket of the lawsuit. Now, at that point, you would have to put the trust indenture into the docket of the lawsuit. So besides like a court order or something like that, I don't see why you would have to give that. Now at the same time, there's nothing stopping you from giving that document to anyone. My whole point is it's just irrelevant. You could go to the county recorder. You could put it. I mean, I put mine on my website for everybody. I have a template for everybody to download. So the ones that I actually use look very similar to this. I might make a few adjustments here and there, but this is
RRTheGod tapping in with y'all. Y'all just got done watching a snippet of the God Pod. I appreciate y'all for watching and staying tuned. If you would like to see the full episode, make sure y'all head over to legacythewave.net or my Instagram subscriptions or YouTube subscriptions. I'd appreciate it if you guys went to my website. We're trying to get people onto our own platforms and get away from social media and just, support, having our fan base support us directly. So I really appreciate it if you guys head over that way. If not, you still like to be on Instagram, you can subscribe to us there. Also, drop some comments, like, subscribe, and if you'd like to see any specific guests on the podcast, be sure to comment below. We also got Just Waking Up, the Spiritual Guidebook, so if you getting into your spiritual journey and you want to understand some of these concepts like the chakras, the third eye, just spirituality in general, be sure to check this out. Much love. One.
Yeah, I really got this shit in the bag right now. Bad bitch in the front seat, car go fast right now. Smoke dope, but we low-key though. Had to give him the okey doke. Like I'm so straight, I'ma just pass right now. Nigga need that bread like Peter. Everything I do for a reason. If you break that code, it's treason. Every one of my dogs, I'm bleeding. Every one of my dogs, I need them. Locked down, free that pen, not breathing. I do this shit for a reason. I don't do this shit for no reason. What you wanna know, I won't lie.